Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Tiny Artist TV. For today's video, we're going with the Valentine's theme, and as mentioned in the February update video, I am going to be putting all three Gajinkas into one video for today instead of spreading it out over the course of February. And so we have three designs based on strawberries, red velvet cake, and roses and pearls. Now, what is a Gajinka? If you're new here and haven't seen me do this before, a Gajinka is basically an anthropomorphized version of usually an inanimate object or a animal type character, but it's more than just like anthropomorphizing it. It's like capturing the essence of the thing and giving it like truly giving it a personality versus just dressing up a human in a costume that looks like the thing that you're trying to recreate. So in that, these initially they were going to be sort of like date night ideas. Was like, that doesn't quite capture the essence, so I'm going to get into my weird and wild bag and just really make this what if chocolate covered strawberries were human type beat. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So what is going into this first design? Well, first is breaking down the essence of a strawberry, whatever that is. And to me, well, probably to a lot of people, strawberries are sweet, but sometimes they're a little tart, a little zesty. So I wanted to kind of have this character, you represent that in her personality, in her stance. And so I have her sort of leaning forward with her tongue sticking out. She's sort of cute, a little sassy, and that to me just like feels very strawberry. And so for her dress, the top of the dress is very much like her body is very strawberry shaped, and that's kind of where I started with the base of this character, was just literally just putting in the shape that I'm working in into this design, and then from there designing the dress. She's got some draping and a little bit of lacing that sort of imitates the frond of the top of a strawberry, and then of course the chocolate drizzles that go across a chocolate covered strawberry as well. But for the main body of the dress, I was inspired by, what do you call it? I think they are called ribbon dresses, where it's just a bunch of very tenuously placed material that's just sort of been like stretched and tied and put all around whoever's wearing it. So a little bit of that, but also a lot of draped loose ribbons, the tendrils of her hair, and then the sleeves of the dress, and then of course ribbons along the back and bottom of the dress to imitate the ribbons that are in my reference image. But also there's a detail along the bottom of the dress that looks like melted chocolate. And then just to sort of break that up a little bit, I've decided to, of course you can see here in my notes, make her shoes white chocolate instead of dark chocolate, because as you can see in my references, there's a variety of chocolates being used in these strawberries, and it just makes the color palette more interesting as well. And I love a white shoe. I don't personally own any white shoes, but I always love the way a white shoe looks, and I think it would have been more striking to have the white shoe with the red ribbons, so that's what I decided to do. Okay, so if strawberries are sassy, roses are A word that I am not comfortable saying on this channel, but if you know, you know. Roses and pearls make me think of Marie Antoinette, but not this one, this one. And if you were there for that moment in Kirsten Dunst's filmography, you get it. So this particular Gajinka is serving. She's classy, classic, but is also like absolutely a mean girl. Like, roses know they're pretty, they're showy, they're flashy, but they're also like in demand. So that's what I wanted to capture with this particular character. Her dress is over the top. Her hair is just kind of flowing. She is absolutely listening to Beyonce's Heated. This pose is just that. And so everything about this character is just very much the girl who is throwing the party but does not want to be there. And I played around with the dress a little bit and was thinking, okay, like if roses are like classic and classy, I was thinking more like a floor-length ball gown. But then I wanted to show off the shoes because she would absolutely be wearing some red bottoms. And I was like, okay, I gotta figure this out. I gotta make a way for these shoes to be on display as well. And I was thinking, what is more than like a just above the knee cropped ball gown? So here we are with this design. And then of course the colors are directly color picked from the references, just kind of as a starting place. Most of the color palette ends up being more whites and pinks because that's more like Marie Antoinette leaning more Rococo. But I didn't want to have like just too much white and cream because of course pearls are also going to be white and cream. So I needed some red accents in there to sort of have the pearls be more like popped off from that landing point. As you can see at this point, this character has gone through a couple of costume changes to get to the point where I felt happy with this character. The initial sketch just kind of felt too simple, and then the hair was just like, okay, this is too much. So I cropped the hair, but leave a few long tendrils, and then of course you saw I changed the color of the skirt from pink to red, as discussed earlier. And now I'm just putting in the finishing details on her makeup and any other little bits that need to be filled in. With these designs and what I try to do with my Gajinkas and what I'll try to push moving forward, I'm really trying to take these sort of everyday things and push them in a direction of, okay, what is something only illustration can do? What is something that is completely impractical? What is something that absolutely would either take too much time and too much money to do, recreate in real life? That is what I think Gajinkas are for. Gajinkas are supposed to be fun and big and bold and boisterous. I mean, of course, it depends on where your reference is coming from. And with the red velvet cake is like the roses, classic, but this is like classic, classy, and well-behaved. So this character is actually a pair of characters. The idea being I wanted more areas to play with between it's a very simple cake. It's a red cake with white icing, white layers. As you can see my references here, one of the references has the crumbs on top, and then the other reference has the crumbs around the side with extra dollops of icing on top. So very minimal, but again, very clean, classy, classic, just nicely presented dessert. This cake is the rich auntie who wears a three-piece suit to Thanksgiving. And so this design actually did end up being more in the sort of date night design ideas. And so this pair of characters, I have the man in the red suit and then the woman in the white dress with the sort of poofs of icing and a little bit of red decoration along the trim of her dress. And so, yeah, this pair of characters was basically... This is actually the design that I started with when working on this video. And then I thought, okay, I don't want to do this for all of them. But for this one, it's fine. And even though it may be a little safer than the other designs, I'm gonna go all out with their outfits. And just like, if you were trying to recreate this with like actual fabrics and time and talent, it would probably be more work than it's worth. And that's what I want to go for, but I still want it to be that sort of clean but exciting, which is really hard to do with a red velvet cake, because typically, unless you just add too many bells and whistles and lose the cake entirely, it's gonna be a minimalist decoration. But I'm not minimalist, so let's go. And I did try my absolute best to push this in a more absurdist direction, but I think with just the references that I have, the color palette that I have, it still would be a complicated set of outfits to put together to some degree, but it is still relatively simple. I'm happy with them, but are they like over the top in the way that I had maybe tried to originally envision? Not necessarily, but they still look good. So that brings us to the end of today's Valentine's Gajinka special episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. And I know it was a little late, but it's fine. It's still in time for Valentine's Day. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a weird day.